Nobody's confusing. All right. Daily chart on the NQ. As we see, we have, right, completed this market maker buy model that we have been talking about. That was the terminus. These were the relative equal highs, right? You had several smaller market maker buy models inside, right? And we walked that out from when we was back down here, right? We have, we have reached Picasso's house. Okay, next target is up here. That target will be 26,580 and a half, right? 26,580 and a half, and then the permanent target is up there at all-time new highs. But that's the next target, right? That's the next target there. We have inside liquidity right there. And remember what we talked about when we get our Fibonacci tool, right? And we get our little friend that we call event horizon, right? And we go there. That let's put the prices on there. That's 26,142 and 3/4. That can be a target also. Why? That's event horizon, right? When you're bullish and you're below event horizon, right? You're anticipating it that it may act as short-term resistance. You may hit it and get a retracement, right? So if you anticipate we can hit it and get a retracement, that can be an area where you take a partial and book some profits. That could be an area where you close your position and look for opportunity to re-enter after we retrace back, right? This right here is the first BISI that's created as we're leaving this area right here. If we got to event horizon, trade back down into this bullish breaker right here, right? We have a bullish fair value gap resting right there that we can trade off of. And if we look to the left, everything you need to know is always to the left, right? We have a suspension block here. This is the first imbalance that was created on this move down before we swept liquidity over here, right? So now we've closed up there today. So now that gives us an inversion. I was going to say inversion fair value gap, but an inversion suspension block, right? You know, suspension block still kind of funny for me to say. It's still kind of funny for me to say. I still want to say fair value gap, but the difference between a suspension block and a fair value gap is the suspension block has a volume imbalance on the top and the bottom, right? So there's a volume imbalance at the top between candle 1 and candle 2 for bearish, right? And a volume imbalance at the bottom between candle 2 and candle 3 for the bearish imbalance, right? So you got a volume imbalance on the top. So now that we've closed up here back above that, right, that's the first imbalance as we come down. So now we have an inversion fair value gap right there, right? What does Michael want to see? The sensitivity and the imbalance that's on the left side of the curve. The BISI is on the right side of the curve, right? The inversion suspension block is on the left side of the curve. So you want to see the sensitivity in that suspension block if price hits event horizon and starts to pull back, right? Starts to pull back into the range, right? Let's see if we go to event horizon, will that put us in, would that put this in the discount if we go all the way to the low of this range, right? So let's go to CE and let's click up there roughly around event horizon, and let's go down to when we take off from this range, right? So if we go to event horizon and just turn around there, okay, equilibrium of this expansion leg, right, that will bring us, if we came back to consequent encroachment of that inversion suspension block, that was bring us back and give us a nice low resistance liquidity run, you know what I'm saying, coming back to a discount, offering a reason to buy. And that's just based off of hitting event horizon. Now if we come up here and sweep this minor buy side right there, and fail to get to the upper quadrant of this event horizon, right? Let's see what that yields us, right? Equilibrium would put us right at the high, right just above the high of the BISI, right around the upper quadrant or upper octant or so of the inversion fair value gap. And again, a nice low resistance liquidity run entry, institutional order flow entry drill off of that inversion suspension block and that bullish fair value gap right there, right? So using what we know, we can anticipate how to interact with price based off the PD arrays, based off the fact that we know event horizon is here, based off the fact that we know minor buy side is there, based off the fact that we know that there's a rejection block there, based off the fact that we know that we're expanding, right? And so we should see a retracement, right, before continuing up into the buy side. Okay, so we have anticipated areas of resistance, right? Anticipated areas of support, right? Boop, boop, boop. So we can map out in our mind, how do we want to move forward? How are we going to engage with price? Okay, we can do it educatedly and not just guess, not just take a shot in the dark. Based off of the PD arrays that are present in price and understanding order flow and price delivery, we understand that we're on the right side of a market maker buy model, right? We are cutting through a balanced price range like it's butter, right? We were below the balanced price range and we sliced through it like it's butter. That's bullish. And now that we've sliced through it, now we want to see this balanced price range act as support. Because we went below it and then cut through it, the algorithm is saying I am bullish. Because the algorithm is saying I am bullish, right? If it decides to come back down to this area after hitting a another PD array, then we can anticipate this acting as support and price continue to go back up, right? Why are we looking at the event horizon? Because we closed above the lower quadrant of this event horizon. So closing above that lower quadrant is showing a desire to want to continue to the next logical place, right? If we would have came up and failed to reach that lower quadrant, that will be showing weakness in price, not complete weakness, but temporary weakness. And so we would anticipate more of a retracement before hitting that event horizon. But since we're not seeing that weakness, you're not anticipating a significant retracement until we hit that event horizon, right? Now, Tim, what if it doesn't hit the event horizon? I'm glad you asked that question, little Timmy Rogers. Since we are sitting here, right? What is it with this? Where are we right here? What PD array is right over here? What are we reacting off of? It's just so much going on. Tim, I can't decide what I want to look at. Should I look at this long wick right here? Should I look at this long wick over here? Should I look at this? What should I look at over there? Never fear. Our old friend Fibonacci is here. All right. You see that event horizon right there at that 0.5. You see that lower quadrant right there. If you get a Fibonacci tool, right, and just set it to consequent encroachment or equilibrium, we're just going to copy this one. That's all you need is just a 50% level, right? If you put it on that event horizon, right, which is at 24,142.75. Let's see if we can get it. Let's see if we can get it. It's not going to let me get there. It's going to drive me crazy if I don't hit it on the dot. So I'm going to try to get it on the dot. 142.75. Right. And then this other one is 25,924 even. 25,924 even. Right. Press that enter. You see right there at that 26,000. Make that larger. All right. 26,033 and a half. Guess what? That's a PD array too. What is that? That's event horizon also. Event horizon is just a halfway point in between two PD arrays. So if price starts to get weak right in here, right? and just starts to dilly-dally for no reason, now you know why. Because that is event horizon 2. If it gets weak, starts to dilly-dally here and starts to turn around, now you know why. That's event horizon 2. But since we are anticipating it to draw into event horizon because we've had a strong closure above the lower quadrant, right? This is a very bullish signature, so you want to see it draw into that 26,142.75 before making any meaningful retracement back down into our anticipated areas of support.
Let him cook! I said let him cook!